First off, just say and spell your name.
Barbara Atwood, Barbara, B-A-R-B-A-R-A, Atwood, A-T-W-O-O-D.
And what's your title?
Professor of Law Emerita at the University of Arizona Rogers College of Law.
Okay. Let's start with this. First of all, just give me your reaction.
Disappointment and surprise. I think the majority opinion is going to put us back into some chaos in Arizona for a period of time once that effective date is reached. And I think that's not a good thing for the people in Arizona.
Have you seen, I don't know if you've done any research on this, but we're one of what now? Well, soon to be one of what? I think 12 or 13 states that have a near total ban. Has anything major happened since then for those states that you know
of? Well, I think there are ongoing challenges in a number of states, but some of those challenges have gone to the state's Supreme Courts and have failed. I think the count is actually higher now. Last time I looked, it was about 16 states that have either a ban from conception forward or a ban at 6 weeks. Florida will join that group shortly. And so that's, Arizona is now going to join that crowd. And not a crowd that people are, I think, excited about joining, frankly.
So let me ask this question Eric wanted me to ask you. Since SCOTUS overturned Roe v. Wade, Arizona has been in constant state of uncertainty when it comes to abortion law. Does this finally provide clarity?
No, it won't provide clarity. I think there will be ongoing challenges. What it does do is to say that the old ban will come into full force and effect. There's a line in the opinion that says basically the law in Arizona declares unlawful any abortion that is not necessary to save the life of the pregnant woman. That ban is not yet effective. The court has made that clear in its opinion. It says there will be 14-day, essentially a pause, a stay on the effective date of the opinion after it is remanded to the trial court. There's another parallel case that is pending in the Maricopa County Superior Court. This case originated in Pima County, but there's a parallel case in the Maricopa County Superior Court brought by a medical doctor and the Arizona Medical Association. That case back in the fall of 2022 reached a stipulation with the state of Arizona. That was when Governor Ducey and Attorney General Brnovich were in power, in office, that the old ban, once it was resolved finally by the Arizona Supreme Court, no prosecutions under the old ban would go forward for 45 days from the date of the Supreme Court's decision. And so that some people are saying, essentially, we have about a 60-day waiting period now for any of this to really go into effect. I'm not certain that this parallel litigation is actually going to bind the state right now. But the odd thing, of course, is that the state, the executive branch now is very different from what it was back then. And you've got a governor and an attorney general who very much don't want to enforce the old territorial ban. So that's going to be interesting. The interveners in this case, Dr. Hazel Rigg, who is the guardian ad litem for unborn children in the state of Arizona, and a county attorney from an outlying county, are really supporting the challenge. I mean, they are the ones that are very much defending the applicability of the old territorial ban. So it's a, you know, procedurally, it's a bit of a complicated case, exacerbated by the fact that we had a change in administration. And that meant that the administration effectively switched sides.
Pima County Attorney Laura Conover has said earlier today that she'll take a complaint, but she's not going to prosecute. She's going to push everything over to the Attorney General's office. She said nobody's going to be arrested or anything like that. With this law in place, do the police have to arrest if somebody makes a complaint, or is that kind of wishy-washy?
I think that prosecutors still retain discretion. They've got a lot of, a lot of things on their plate, and they can prioritize cases. That's always been part of prosecutorial discretion. If the county attorney believes that certain incidents, criminal allegations really threaten the public safety and they take priority, I think that so-called abortion offenses might fall down to the bottom in terms of her priority. I believe there is discretion. There is another legal issue, and that is that the Attorney General and the governor essentially have said that they will not, that any prosecution of anybody under the territorial ban is within their authority, and that they don't want any county attorney to pursue any of this. And there are some county attorneys who don't like that restriction on their authority. And so that's an unresolved issue. Governor Hobbs issued an executive order saying no county attorneys should pursue any prosecution of the abortion law, that's retained within the Attorney General's discretion. So there are some questions about it, but I think Laura Conover is completely within her right to say, what priorities she has for protecting public safety.
So you're my lawyer, and I'm a doctor. I would probably be terrified to perform an abortion. Even after hearing what Conover says, I feel like somebody might try to take it to court and I could get in trouble. So the question is, do I do it? Do I not do it? If you're Planned Parenthood, do you keep doing it? Do you not do it?
Yeah, that's a great question, Michael. And I think it was that uncertainty right after the Dobbs decision that led a lot of abortion providers and clinics to close their doors, to stop providing abortion services. Right now, even though the opinion is very strongly worded, it also is not effective yet by its own terms. So as long as a stay is in effect, I think I would advise you as my client that you are protected, that as long as you're compliant with the 15-week law, you're not going to be prosecuted. Once these stays, if they ultimately are lifted, then of course you're going to be in jeopardy, I think, as a medical professional if you perform an abortion that does not comply with the old territorial ban. But it's not clear to me when the stays are going to be lifted, because I think there will be additional stays requested by Planned Parenthood in the case that was just announced today.
So it's unlikely. Is it 14 days from today or 14 days from when they make their final, whatever it's called?
Well, the language of the stay is that 14 days from the filing date of this opinion. And so that is from today.
Okay.
It's remanded to the trial court that no prosecutions will go forward, that the enforcement of the territorial ban is stayed for that 2-week period from today. But there is this other 45-day stay that was entered, 1.5 years ago. And so that, I think there will be a period of time. I predict greater than these 2 stays. I think the plaintiffs will probably be able to get an additional stay, I hope, of this law. But right now, you as my client, you are safe. In a few months from now, maybe not so much.
So now let's take it to what we saw happen in Alabama, IVF. I mean, what happens now with those eggs? If I got eggs, and I'm thinking about the future, maybe I'm not ready yet. What happens now?
Well, are you asking about whether this impacts IVF and
Yes.
assisted reproduction?
Yes.
Arizona actually has some fairly clear protections for IVF. It excludes those procedures from abortion. On the other hand, we have a personhood law that figured in the Supreme Court's analysis in today's opinion that in very general language gives unborn children from conception forward all the rights of human beings. So there's some ambiguity there as well, but we do have some explicit language about the practice of IVF that where I think the legislature tried to sort of carve it out and not do what the Alabama Supreme Court construed Alabama law to be. I thought you were going to ask, might we see a reaction from the Arizona legislature similar to the reaction of the Alabama legislature to that opinion? And I think this is a bit more complicated than that. I have already today, and you've probably seen some legislators in Arizona have said, this is not a good decision. We don't agree with this. It will be interesting to see if they try to get some momentum going to have a legislative response, a quick legislative fix, maybe. We'll see.
Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up here. Just bottom line, what does today's decision mean for women in Arizona?
Well, right now, it hasn't changed anything because it's not yet effective. If and when it becomes fully effective, it will completely and radically reduce women's reproductive freedoms. It will, I think, as on a practical level, mean that women seek abortion services elsewhere. Those who can afford it will go to California or New Mexico or Colorado. For low-income women, for teenagers, for people that don't have resources, it's going to be a really serious infringement of their access to reproductive health care, frankly.
Final question then. You talked about going to different places. Is there anything in the books where I can be prosecuted?
You as a
As let's say I'm a woman,
okay.
I get pregnant, I'm going to go to New Mexico. Can I be prosecuted by the state of Arizona?
I don't think so. There used to be a law in the books that would criminalize a woman's own behavior in seeking an abortion. This was also dating back to the 1800s. That was repealed by the Arizona legislature a couple of years ago. So right now, the person seeking the abortion is not the target, but I emphasize the language right now. And we don't have law that's criminalizes going elsewhere. That's going to be an issue in the United States in general. Some states have been very eager to do that. That's not the case yet in this state.
I'm sorry, I forgot one thing Eric asked me to ask you, and that's this. From your perspective, how important an issue will abortion be in the fall campaign?
I think it will be huge. And I think this, that was my second reaction. My first reaction to today's decision was disappointment. My second reaction was it's going to galvanize voters. It will galvanize the movement to get the constitutional amendment passed, assuming it makes it onto the ballot. I think it will be very, very important in electing candidates to office who are going to protect reproductive choice.
Okay, ma'am, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it on this very important issue, and you're definitely a voice in this community. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael. Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye.